Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Johnson, and I'm here to welcome you to our presentation. Today, we are going to be speaking to you about estate planning. And let me start off this presentation by, of course, welcoming you here and thank you for taking your time out here. I also want to make sure that you understand that this conversation that we're going to have here has nothing to do with legal advice, tax advice, financial advice, or anything of that nature. Instead, what this presentation is all about is to make you aware, apprised of a phenomenal system that's in place to be able to handle estate planning needs and to make you aware of your estate planning needs in case you don't realize that you actually do have them. And we are here to provide you what we believe is the best solution in the marketplace here today. So with that, once again, I'll introduce myself. I'm Derek Johnson, and I'd like to welcome you to our presentation. We are going to have the ability to have you to ask questions in the end of this presentation. You can just raise your hand or you can put it in the chat along the way. The lines are muted here, and my screen is being shared to give you that visual, as they say, a picture is worth more than 1,000 words, so that you can be able to be right there on point with everything that we're bringing forth here to you today. Our company, our agency, is called Wealth Transfer Alliance. We refer to ourselves as WTA. And we have a tagline here where we say, if you know transfer, then you know wealth. In fact, we also say, if there is no transfer, there is no wealth. And that is very true. And we want to make sure that you do have an understanding of transfer and the importance thereof. So what are the sources actually saying about transfer? It's a great question. Well, you have a number of different sources that are out there. They're actually deeming it the great wealth transfer. And they're saying there's some $84 trillion that's going to exchange hands by virtue of the silent generation and the baby boomers from now until 2045. That's a real deal. You have the New York Times saying the great wealth transfer, the greatest wealth transfer in history is here, $84 trillion, and $64 trillion will be transferred within the next decade. Of that 84 trillion, 16 trillion will be transferred. The street says that the great wealth transfer, what is it and when does it happen? Between 2023 and 2045. $84 trillion will be handed down to millennials by and members of Gen X. Yahoo Finance, the great wealth transfer, how baby boomers are passing on trillions to their heirs. Noting here that the silent generation has handed down 15.8 trillion, mostly over the coming decades. And Forbes magazine here to highlight the end here of what they're saying about the transfer. The great wealth transfer from baby boomers to millennials will impact the job market and economy. Yes, it's going to do that. That is what the third party, the sources are actually saying. It's out there. You can Google it and find tons other information that's out there. But let me ask you this question. What are the sources saying about the preparation? If there's such a great amount that's being transferred, how is it being transferred into what? And where would it land? And on what hearts, mindsets will it take place? Well, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Caring is an organization that collects a lot of data and things of that nature. What they are saying out there is that 32% of Americans have a will. 41% of people between the ages of 18 and 34, and 34% of people between the ages of 35 and 54 have never discussed estate planning with anyone. With anyone. 40% of Americans don't think they have enough assets to even create an estate plan. Let me say this at the helm. It is my firm belief that the reason why people don't have a complete and comprehensive estate plan is because of primarily three reasons: convenience, costs, lack of education. Those are the three main reasons. You may say, well, it's a morbid topic and people don't want to talk about it. Lack of education. You may say, well, they may not think they have enough, like it said right here, lack of education, understand exactly what it's about. Let me finish here. Cambridge, they said that 18% of Cambridge Trust, 18% of people don't know what an advanced healthcare director even is. 52% of people don't know where their parents have stored their estate planning documents. Bloomberg, nearly 70% of property owners plan to bequeath real estate to their heirs, but they have no estate plan. LegalZoom, only 33% of US adults have created estate planning documents. For those who haven't made a living trust or created an estate plan document, 60% of them not even making an effort to even start. Well, this, if you can look at these two source dynamics that are in place, that's a recipe for disaster. $84 trillion is going to hit and going to be transferred into this. Now, where do you come in this play? I don't know exactly, but let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm 55 years old. I'm the only child of a single mom. I have three grown daughters. My oldest is married, about to have her first child coming up. And I've been in the financial service realm for about 24 years. Up until 18 months ago, I thought, with a graduate degree in economics, and I worked in economics and agricultural economics and economic forecasting companies, both political and just regular there, statistical there for the government. I thought that if you had a will, you were fine. That's what I thought. No one told me anything different. And then I came to know a little bit later on about a trust, and a trust might be good. Here's what's the problem with both of that, ladies and gentlemen. People need a complete and comprehensive estate plan in order to make sure that their legacy, their heritage is taking place. Because isn't your life worth a legacy? It indeed is. You work hard. You do things, right? You suffer, you power through things. There's something that you can pass on to the next generation to help them to be better. And that is a transfer that you need to know so that you can know wealth and your legacy, your heritage can be passed on. But no one is really out there pushing forth a system or a way in which people can be able to do that in mass. This is why you're on this call here and now and right now today, because the business of death is big and there is revenue that's in place there. And that revenue is growing because of ignorance that people either don't know, they're afraid and don't know that's on there. They can't overcome the inconvenience of being able to make sure that things are in place, so they don't have a system to. We have a solution. Look at this. This is a revenue, $33 billion in the state and gift taxes that's there. That's what the government made then. Federal. Here are the figures for state government. Where's all this money coming from? From your heritage? Where's all this money coming from? Your legacy? Where's all this money coming from? The hard work and effort of those who passed on and didn't pass things on properly. Yes, this must stop. And we're hoping that we can start the stop with you. That's what we're looking to be able to do. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for there to be a difference that's there. All of these numbers that you have seen here today are starting to compound as more and more families are unprepared for future, risking unnecessary dynamics in place and causing legal battles that shouldn't be there, heightened costs, delays, and stress. It is absolutely crucial that if you're without a complete and comprehensive estate plan, that you establish one, because without it, you are living unprotected, and without it, your wishes, responsibilities, assets, and the like may not be handled as you intended, causing significant hardships that are financial, emotional, burdens, all for your loved ones. You see, an estate plan is not just for the wealthy. A complete and comprehensive estate plan is the answer to escape probate. That's right. All of these problems can be escaped and relieved. Wealth Transfer Alliance, we call ourselves WTA, and is our mission, our goal, our aim to get people off of probate. Preparing a situation in a way for you to be able to complete an estate comprehensive, a complete and comprehensive estate plan conveniently and easy. How? With what we call the best solution. It's an intelligent, intuitive, internet-based estate planning technology. This is our solution. With it, you can conveniently establish your plan customized for your life. You have the ability to start it when you want on any device, totally secured. It could be a smartphone, tablet, or computer. We advise you to put it on something that is connected to a printer if you want to print things out at one point in time or another, but you're able to have that all into place. And this technology guides you through a simple 5-step process. Is my mother, she's not the oldest person in the world, I understand. She's 78 years old. My daughters always complain that she messes up group text messages and all that this there and having it in place this there. So but she was able to complete this in 2 settings of about 2 hours. It took her a total of 4 hours to be able to sit down and do it without any questions. I'm here to say her quote was, if you could check your email, you should be able to do this with little to no problems. This there. It's a simple 5-step process. And the first step, ladies and gentlemen, is called the interview. And that interview, you need to understand, is going to take you, the technology is friendly and the easy interface to follow, and it will list all the items that you need to successfully complete the interview. All right. Here is where you will input your information. You're going to select your beneficiaries, your trustees. You're going to make other decisions necessary to create your estate plan. It then customizes your plan without any legalese. There's no legal knowledge that's required, and at no time are you required to write any language that's there. It's a done for you system. The way in which it is set up and structured, as you can see, has a little tab here to like post it to take you through all the steps that's there. And you need to understand that it is going to produce all the attorney drafted documents that is needed as you just simply fill in the blanks and answer yes or no questions. The technology is simple. It is based on decision tree programming, which means how you answer the questions will determine the language that it will fashion, the legal language and the documents that are needed to fashion, that it's going to pull from its database to populate the attorney drafted documents. For example, as you can see here, that's name, date of birth, gender, and if there's a spouse involved there, it's going to ask your address, your state. Your state is going to immediately trigger the technology to work. because there's some things that are state specific. It also goes so far as to ask your city and your zip code and your county. Why? Because all of those are going to pull out specific language from the database that might be specific to the laws of your state jurisdiction, where you're coming from and where you are and where your assets may be. All of this is in play to make sure that it's convenient, fast, and it's an educational process because you're going to understand and learn as you go along. And that knowledge is power in your hands, and it's convenient for you right at your fingertips. In addition to that, the way in which you answer your questions could lead to more complex situations like blended families. This there. That may just pop into place this there as well. All right, some people are saying they cannot see my screen. I'm wondering why that's happening here. You should be able to see my screen here. Now, let me change the share to make sure that everybody is seeing it. You may be on a device that's not allowing that to go through. Okay, without a doubt, now you should be able to see it. Okay, some people said they see it, but I'm gonna go ahead and continue here. Likewise, when you answer these questions, as I was mentioning, it can lead you to more complex situations like blended families or special needs family members. As you can see here, when you're adding a person, there's a little box right here for you to check. Is this person disabled or not? If you answer yes, it's going to fashion other important things that need to be addressed and ask other questions in which you need to make sure that you answer so that everything is taken care of properly. This there. So, and you'll have everything right there in place. This there. You should be able to have that. Now, also, it does the same thing with children on it as well. Now, as you're going along here, it'll ask other questions and address like organ donations and a whole lot more. The technology is there to do, all kinds of things, special bequeaths and etc. All there to be able to address the things that may be important to you because it's your life, right? It's your legacy, it's your heritage, and it's been incredible things that people have been able to put into place for their families, which I'll discuss some of them at the end here. Now, you may say, well, it's tailored fit and it's all that, but education you mentioned, but what kind of help do I have? The process is simple. It's as simple as check your email. It still, though, provides you help if you need it. There are text pop-up bubbles that pop up there. There's PDF guides that are on there that you have. If you look here at the top here where I'm circling, there are FAQs with videos, frequently asked questions, and they have videos there. Why? Because they know people don't like to read, but they'll watch a video of what their question, perhaps they may answer their questions. There are PDF guidebooks and video instructional videos on every section that's there. There's a glossary of terms and there's email support. So you are not alone and everything is right there. Plus you have the individual who may have directed you to it. They can also provide you some guidance through the software. We don't provide any legal advice or legal decisions and all that because that is the place of advisement for an attorney. But this software was derived and put together by Harvard attorneys, and they're the ones that keep it compliant and updated, which is absolutely phenomenal for you to be able to have there in place. Now, the next step you have is to review. After you've gone through the whole interview, now you're in place to review your estate plan, and it's going to give you all the green check marks. If you did something wrong, there'll be a red X. There's question marks if you leave things undone. That would be popped up there, and you can click on that to make the adjustments and the changes right there. Everything is highlighted there, and when you're ready to go, you click here that you're ready to be able to move forward, or you go through and make the changes if need be. And you can always make, and you have the ability at your fingertips for unlimited adjustments and changes because let's just face it, life changes as we go along as well, right? All of that happens and it is in place there. Now, After you go through that review, now you can generate your documents. And it's easy by just clicking on the tabs, right? When you come here, it's going to take you to every last section that's in place here. Now, remember, this is a complete and comprehensive estate plan. So it has everything top to bottom that you need: your revocable trust, your certificate of trust, your last will and testament. It has your power of attorney over your assets and your finance, your power of attorney for healthcare, your living will and advance directives. It even has a pour over will in place there. And it has a phenomenal funding kit that you're going to hear about a little bit later, not to mention an incredible document vault, too. But as you are here now, where you're in a position here to be able to generate your documents, you have the ability to edit each section if you want, the interview that you went through. If you have legal consultation and they're suggesting that you add something, you can upload and have additions to it if you need to. And at that point in time, once it's all ready, you can generate the document. Once you generate the document, you have a gray box here that will scroll down. It will show every last time that you generated the document over the years, perhaps, that you had it. So you can go back and look at changes that you made over time. In case you desire to be able to do it, it keeps a history of that for you there as well. And it tells you each section, like this is the power of attorney over assets. It tells you that this needs to be notarized and signed. Now, that notary is something that you have to provide yourself. You either go to your bank, or maybe you like you're technology savvy and you want to do a remote online notary, what they call a RON. You can do that as well and have it signed and all that stuff there and keep it digital. Or you can, when you generate it, you can print out the documents and take it to your bank if you desire, or however you get things notarized. Chain of custody for everything, that has to be your responsibility there. We can't have anything to do with that on that side, to keep it legal and above board on that side there. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, where you're going to be able to ratify that document that's right there, right? Because you're able to generate that document in place there and produce them and make the changes if you need. Now, once you get it there, you get them, follow the instructions, signed, notarized, witnessed, and all of that. So important to be able to do to make sure that you have that. And once you have all of it done, notarized, witnessed, signed, witnessed, all of that stuff that's there, you can always make changes if you need to, all right, to make sure that you do. But once you have all that set into place, that's there, now it is that legal document that's there. And of course, yes, life does happen. Divorces happen, and maybe you have to make changes, or maybe you purchase a new home, or you receive some other valuable gifts that you like to pass on that's there, or maybe you have a new child or a grandchild, or maybe there's a situation with the in-laws that make you kind of eerie and you want to make some changes there. You know, that's life, right? And obviously, life events come in a myriad of different fashions as you go along this there, but you have the ability at your fingertips to have unlimited changes, no additional fees for your changes. Now, if you make changes in which have to be notarized, then yeah, you will incur those particular fees, but that has nothing to do with anything else on the other side. Any changes must be in the form of an amendment or restatement, and that's all guided through the system for you at your fingertips. And ladies and gentlemen, our system also addresses funding. It addresses the funding aspect. This is so huge. I can't tell you how huge this is. There are over 60% of estate plans they spent the money, the two, three, four, ten thousands of dollars of attorneys' work to get all of their documents and ducks in a row. And they have it. They got what they call the book trust. It's bound, and they got it, three-ring binder, and they got the leather covering and all that other stuff. And guess what they didn't do? They didn't fund it. Attorneys are not responsible for funding. They can help with funding for an extra fee, but that's not their goal. Their aim is to give you the documents. Most people have no idea what funding is. In its shortness, I'll give it to you. You have to remember that an estate plan only works if you properly fund it. So assets that are not transferred or assigned to your trust before death are not funded within your estate plan. They can only be moved over by what is called a pour over will. And guess what will happen if you have a pour over will? Now you could be subject to probate, and you're going to add to those billions of dollars of death revenue that the federal and state government is getting. That's what's happening to tons of people. There are things that I can point out that we should not know, but it's in the public eye because the wealthy and the famous did not have a system to update as they expanded their empires to update their estate plan before they passed away. That is why we know that, in part, why we know that the Michael Jackson family does not and is not in control of the Beatles. The whole Beatles stuff, all the Beatles enterprise was bought by Michael Jackson, but he died before it was properly transferred into his estate plan. And since it was not properly transferred into his estate plan before he passed away, guess who took it? His agent or the agency, Sony or whoever it was. They got it. How did they get it? Because it was not locked and keyed into there as of yet because things have changed. So it's important to have things funded, in place with it. And we have the solution to that. All right. We want to make sure that you avoid not having things funded. That's why you got to have things funded as quickly as possible. And it's facilitated, as you're going to see in just a moment. Right. I want you to note that after you get it all signed and in place, now you can fund it. Right. And so when you're able to do that, that's awesome. Right. Because just listing your assets in your estate plan, which people do, that makes it convenient for you and your successor trustees to be able to track it. All right. But just because it's listed does not mean that it has been funded into your estate plan. All right. This is where you're going to use the unlimited attorney drafted funding letters that are included in this package that we have. By signing and likely, often in some instance, mailing or delivering it to whoever facilitates whatever you're trying to fund into your estate plan to make sure that you're transferring it to your estate plan. That is your responsibility to do, but it's facilitated with this system that we're offering, this platform that's in place here. Now, the method to be able to fund assets into your estate plan is going to depend upon the type of asset, and there can be other considerations as well. But typically, an asset is funded into your estate plan in one of two ways. You transfer the ownership, such as an asset to your trust. You transfer the ownership of it. That can be a insurance policy of such that you want to be the owner. You want your trust to be the owner of it. Or you can be able to make some changes of titling a certain property over. We'll talk about that as well. Or you can make your trust that's within your complete and comprehensive estate plan the beneficiary of that asset. So it could be the beneficiary of a life insurance policy. Life insurance policy comes into play. It pays your trust, and then your trust distributes that as you intended. All right. Making that asset payable to the trust allows you to be able to do that. The funding step is vital. This is where you're going to move that asset into your estate plan. It's often missed, as mentioned before. Our kit has two sections, as you can see right here. There is the real estate and there is other assets that's put into place there. All right. So let's talk about this funding kit and how wonderful it is, and it's all inclusive. All right. So what's great here about real estate is that you're able to conveniently quick claim deed all of your properties as the technology has partnered with a national deed preparation service that can prepare your quick claim or warranty deed anywhere in the United States and the District of Columbia for as little as $75, and it's right inside your platform. Think about this: for people who have properties in multiple states, they have to go do that, perhaps even show up in person at some land ordinance uh, building to be able to take care of stuff back and forth in order to make sure that they have it all done right. Some people are savvy enough to do it themselves. That's true. But this is done for as little as $75 on this platform. That's pretty phenomenal to be able to have that at your fingertips. You're able to get it done. You can also add additional services as it relates to preparing the forms for state and county, having them recorded and calculating the taxes and the fees. There's a cost for doing that, but there's a cost for doing that anywhere. That's not a cost that you're going to incur this extra. If you're going to make that change, there's a cost for that. But that cost is relatively inexpensive compared to going through probate and not having it done at all, for sure. And the pain and suffering that you'll go through with it. DeedWorks is that company, as you can see, anywhere in the United States for as little as $75. This there inside your software. You can click and get the average recording fees of every state that's there. This because the states have all their fees listed, and you can be able to do all of that right at your fingertips inside, not for additional dynamics that's there that you got to go find or extra that's there, but it's all included and it ties right in to your estate plan within that system. Now they're going to mail you certain things. I'm sorry, they email it. Back in the day, they used to mail it. They email you the things right over to you. So make sure you check your email. Make sure you have everything right there intact and in place there. But being able to have that in place is phenomenal. In addition to other assets, ladies and gentlemen, there are 16 tabs. And you may say, Derek, you said you're in economics and insurance. You can't count. I see 19. Well, only 16 of those 19 refer to other assets. Okay. Some are instructional, otherwise, that's there. Okay. But all these other asset topics and items, these are buttons that you can click on that will open and provide you with instructions on how you can be able to protect those by adding them into your revocable trust that's inside your complete and comprehensive estate plan. It's very simple. Everything from cash assets and banking institutions to mineral interests and foreign assets and everything in between, all right there, A to Z at your fingertips to ensure that you absolutely know transfer and you can know wealth and you can protect your legacy. For vehicles, very important here, nationwide setup for the nationwide transfer of vehicles right at your fingertips inside your complete and comprehensive estate plan is very easy. They allow you to go to any state wherever they're registered, those vehicles are registered, and it will give you the instructions on what you need to be able to do so you can transfer them properly. Okay, to make sure that you have no trouble in doing that. You can list them, but you got to follow the instructions under every DMV throughout the entire Department of Motor Vehicle, throughout the entire United States there, so you can follow the proper steps. And this is also where you would use those unlimited funding letters as well to make sure that that's done just right. Then, ladies and gentlemen, after you have it funded, you went through the interview, you got everything like you wanted, you got it signed and notarized, ratified as the legal document. You now have it funded and locked and loaded on that side. Now we recommend that you upload any physically signed or notarized document into your e-vault. This is for easy access in case of emergency. It also protects your documents and keeps them safe and secure at under your ability to open it with all of your codes and things of that nature that's there. but it's to make sure it protects that and all your important documents from you don't have to worry about any misplacement, floods, fires, or fear that the pet ate it or whatever. This there. You have all that stuff right there. Now, you can, of course, print out all your stuff and put it in a safe deposit box somewhere else too. You can do whatever you like on that. But this feature is a great feature that's here. It's there for you. It's right there in place, and it keeps all of your things safe and at your fingertips for access as well. It is important for you to know that your estate plan is safe within the entire system. The system uses encryption such as SHA 256 RSA 4096 bit key SSL encryption. What the heck is that? You may say, well, that's the subscript, that is the encryption that, according to all the legal authorities in cyberspace, that's set in a place to provide you with the top of the line security that goes beyond the year 2040. That's what's currently set in place there. Now, it's the same that's being used as other financial institutions, e-commerce sites, and government sites as well. All there in place for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, the estate plan that we've been talking to you about here is all of the features. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not $5,000 or more dollars like the average cost of something like this if you were to try to get all this written out and put together by an attorney's office. This there. It's a fraction of the cost. $1,995 for everything. That's your revocable living trust with all of the options. You got an AB trust option, spendthrift provisions, IRA look through. You got the organ donations. You got the blended families and the special needs trust, sub trust for children, 24-hour access and certificate of trust, all at your fingertips. And that's a one-time charge that you have there. You also have the last will and testament, your financial power of attorney. You also have your healthcare power of attorney, living will, poor will, advance directives, the online funding kit I just went through with you, unlimited funding letters, the digital vault, and you have unlimited changes and updates and reinstatements that's there. Year 2 forward, to keep it active, if you want to make changes, whatever, $49.95 per year. $50 minus a nickel per year. If you don't want to keep it active, print everything out, take it off of the system, you have it, and now you have it right in place, which is typically what people get from an attorney. You just have it once and it's there. If you ever want to get any upgrades on it, go back to the attorney and pay again. All right. If you ever want to do any updates on this, you already paid. You just go in and make your changes and be able to have it for your life as it goes along. So that's the dynamic of what we bring in place. It's important to know that once you make the purchase of this, 3 days after your purchase, you'll receive an email with all your login credentials in place there, so you can be able to do it, because they're setting it up for you in that regard. So it typically comes before 3 business days, but we like to say 3 business days just to make sure it's on point and handy there. When you go to purchase it, it's there. You'll also see a button at the bottom, right? Because if you're not liquid, we extend financing. You can make the purchase with a debit card, a Visa card, or any credit card that's there, or a debit card that's there. But if you're not liquid on any of that, we have 35 lenders that are here for you to be able to give you access based upon a soft credit pull, that the income ratios, and some credit score reviews that is there for rates as low as 4.9%. To be able to give you the funds that's in place there, and then you set up the plan to pay them from that point forward. All right. But this platform and the platform access is phenomenal in that regards. See, listen, the reasons, once again, that people are without a complete and comprehensive estate plan is not because they don't have access to attorney. It's because of education, convenience, and cost. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've pulled all the stops out. We've put it in place now for you to be able to have the planning and execution of intergenerational wealth transfer right here in place. And that is the proven path to upward economic and social mobility for families in America. Don't leave your family's future to chance. Join the thousands of Americans who are securing their legacy. It has never been easier or more affordable. Be sure to reach out to the individual who directed you to this Zoom ASAP. They will give you a link to be able to go to where you can be able to start your legacy and change your trajectory towards generational wealth because you know transfer. So get your estate plan solution in place today. Thank you for joining us. Once again, get back to that person who invited you here for this presentation.